A little bit of a fun story here. So Nick Khan, he was on a podcast with Bill Simmons as they were doing their WrestleMania rounds, as they usually do this time of year. And they started talking about the possibility of doing a political angle. And we'll go over to WrestleZone for the story here. Nick Khan says it would be too tough to do an ICE arresting WWE superstars storyline, which is oddly specific.
Yes.
WWE President Nick Khan was a guest on the Bill Simmons podcast. During the conversation, he addressed whether the promotion would consider doing storyline that mirrored real life political issues. Nick Khan replied that given the current political environment, it'd be too tough to have storylines like that. He also pointed out that the company tried to do a politically correct angle with Joe Gacy, which I think I've mentioned that one, when he was the leader of Schism in NXT, saying it didn't work. Kit Wilson. Bill Simmons said,
Would you rather consider doing the 80s thing, using WWE to mirror things that are going on in real life, like some of the political stuff? That seems like that ship has sailed 20 years ago.
Nick Khan, too tough. It's too tough. The political environment now, like to have ICE officers arresting Dragon Lee, Bill Simmons.
You could never do any of that stuff. That would be crazy. Yeah, that would be awful.
Nick Khan, you couldn't do it. Yeah, Bill Simmons.
But you could do, like, I don't know, somebody like super left liberal wrestler as a heel who's just constantly correcting everybody, or do like a super MAGA. Like, you could just would stay away completely from all that stuff.
Nick Khan, we did it for a moment in NXT when we were coming out of COVID. The guy who's in the Wyatt Six now, Joe Gacy, before he would, let's say, body slam you, he would apologize that he had to. Bill Simmons.
That didn't work? Ha ha ha.
Nick Khan, no, it didn't work. But he was like, I'm sorry, I have to wrestle you. Bill Simmons.
So, like a politically correct angle?
Right. For everything, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And then that's pretty much the end of that. That video, by the way, is a year old, so it's not even the right video. So they didn't catch that part. And then just the last bit here, it says, when asked if he'd become a character on television, he said, never, never, never. It will never, never, never happen.
Which means he'll debut next week. I was the real voice behind Randy.
I was the caller.
I also killed Jacob Fatu.
I kicked him right in the... I don't know. I think they could get away with it. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'm sounding a little hypocritical here, as I've always been saying that, keep the politics out of it. But I think there's a way to do it without like directly call them ICE, but people can know what that is.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of like when Slaughter pretended to be Iraqi.
Yeah, it worked. I don't know if it was a political angle, but what was that guy's name? Hassan Hassan.
Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah. I mean, I never heard someone get booed more than that.
He couldn't wrestle after that.
Yeah, it was becoming a safety issue for him.
And then he got fired for it.
Yeah, it's a little too hot. But at this point, we can't go another direction, so I'm sorry. This went a little too well, but if they were smart about it.
Which we already discussed. It's not Triple H's forte. He's not the brains of the operation.
Vince McMahon, for his faults, not everything he did struck gold, but he would be willing to take a chance to try something like that. Not saying this necessarily, but he would try something. If it fails, it fails. And then you write it off and do something else. But he would try it. This sounds like, oh, we already tried it on NXT, not on the main roster. Because, whatever works in NXT works in the main roster. But we tried it there. It didn't work. So, no, we can't do it. Like, at least give it a shot. Like, you have nothing creatively right now.
Right. At all.
It would be a direction.
Shit that they have put, like, creative energy into sucks.
Yes. I don't know. It would be a direction. Because at the end of the day, this is wrestling. This is not UFC. Everything doesn't have to be so straightforward. I will give them credit for the WrestleMania build, as it did feel like we were getting back to wrestling a little bit, in the fact that everything wasn't just so damn real. But I'm just trying to think of someone can play a character to get Dragon Lee arrested by ICE.
Gunther.
Wouldn't they be after him too, though? Or no?
No. Come on. He passes the eye test.
Fair.
He just needs not open his mouth.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, they could have someone like being that kind of character. But I definitely see it on the other side of the coin, because we're definitely in a climate where people would melt down over it.
That's true. Either side. They're both just as bad.
Yeah. And it goes to my point of like, we watch wrestling to escape all that shit. But again, if you're creative about it, you don't have to like directly in your face say this is what it is. You can creatively tweak it to where it's a wrestling angle or whatever. I don't know. I think it would be at least something to try. Not that specifically. Like I said, maybe they've backed down on it, but they kind of had it working with Kit Wilson. I mean, he had a purse, and he still carries a purse.
Is that political though?
That's not political, but he said like have like a super left person or a MAGA person. And Kit Wilson, they kind of were going down that road of him being super left. Wade Barrett actually said he's a they them.
Yeah, you can't get any more left than that.
Yeah. But now it's kind of seemed like they've even backed off on that. But yeah, they can get some We the People back. Yeah, that probably pissed people off today.
I enjoyed that one.
We people. Why is it the white people are doing the We the People thing? Even though they had Alberto Del Rio was kind of with them. Cesaro was with them. But yeah, I like that gimmick. And you had a lot of people doing the We the People thing, which was a little bit concerning.
They're just being patriots.
It was the undertone where he would like stand up and with a clear, straight voice say, like, I don't like where this is headed. It is catching on a little too good.
Well, really would have been fucked up is if you saw like the audience just kind of segregate itself.
Yeah.
1 week you just see the We the Peoplers.
Yeah, they all have the shirt and then just sitting all together.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
And then the non-We the Peoplers are like in the balcony or something out of the way.
Oh, don't go in that section. Those are the We the People people.
It's all fucked up benches and shit.
But that's all I got here.